kid, slow and steady wins the race.
What does that even mean? Whatever, I'm going on to the next problem.
In natural areas such as forests, about 50% of the rain seeps into the ground and becomes groundwater. In some large cities, only about 30% of the rain becomes groundwater. The information above could be used most effectively in arguing against which of these proposals? F. Adding chemicals to a local water supply. G. Permitting a water well to be drilled in a state park. H. Limiting the use of waterways for recreation. Or J. Paving a meadow to create a parking area. Ooh, this problem has so many words. How am I ever going to figure it out? Well, there was this one thing my teacher taught me. It's called OPTIC. O for overview, scan the entire visual. P for parts, look at the different parts of the visual. T for title, what is the title of the graph, data table, or picture. I for interrelationships, what connections can you make between the different parts. And C for conclusion, what conclusion can you make about the visual.
I'll start with O. At first glance, the problem seems to be a comparison on the amount of rainfall that's absorbed. Next, I'll identify facts and details for P. It says here that 50% of rainfall in the rainforest seeps into the ground and 30% of rainfall becomes groundwater in large cities. The next letter is T, so I'll look at the title. The heading of this graphic is Results of Scientific Study. I is all about making connections between parts. From this visual, I know that the rainforest holds more groundwater than large cities. Therefore, I can conclude for C that developing an area leads to a decrease in the amount of groundwater. Now that I've broken down this problem, it seems a whole lot more manageable. All I have to do is find out what it's asking me. I can do this with a method called Frame the Brain. First, I'll put a box around the question words and phrases. In this case, the phrase would be, which of these? Next, I'll draw a triangle of the key word. I think it would be groundwater. Last, I'll circle all the important details, like forests, 50%, rain, seeps, ground, large cities, 30%, and groundwater. Important elements of the problem, I see the question is really asking me which of the actions would cause a decline in groundwater levels. Well, adding chemicals to a local water supply wouldn't affect groundwater levels, so it's not the right answer. Drilling a water well in a state park is opposite to the solution. We need to do less construction to get more groundwater. Like F, G, or limiting the use of waterways for recreation would not affect the amount of rainfall that's absorbed into the land. Therefore, we can rule it out. By using the process of elimination or beating out incorrect answers to find the right one, I can conclude that the right answer is J. In OPTIC, I found that developing an area leads to a decrease in the amount of groundwater. Therefore, paving a meadow to create a parking area would have negative effects.
We cut the legs off of our pants, threw our shoes into the ocean, laid back and waved through the daylight.